ThreatLocker tools, the ones that we are currently using, would be allow listing. We'll start there. That has saved us many hours of cleanup over the last year. We just recently had a client call us and thanked us because there was an older school Trojan that was on a USB drive, and ThreatLocker stopped that like cold. So again, I can't mention the client's name, but they would say the ThreatLocker going through the process of setting up software and then analyzing the software over that 21 to 28 day period was well worth its weight in gold because it saved them a ton of cleanup and problems. So ring fencing, we use ring fencing primarily to stop, obviously, PowerShell scripts or VB scripts from executing when they shouldn't be inside like Excel or known software. So we definitely use the ring fencing, allow listing combined. We do use elevation control from ThreatLocker. We definitely spend a lot of time with that. We do use the testing environment from ThreatLocker. It's definitely assisted us in some of our analysis of the software for each client or even the LMT network. Allow listing and ring fencing and the elevation control, I would say that is really why we're selling your product. We needed it. It was something missing in our tool stack before. We fell in love with the ability of the allow listing and that ring fencing. That was our number one priority to stop stuff from running. One of the other reasons we actually brought ThreatLocker on was not just for, I guess, all clients, but it was targeting the military contract clients. So as they come through and get to their compliance level, their maturity, that's when we really need some tool to control the software in every machine and what runs in those networks. It's very tightly scrutinized. So CMMC, ThreatLocker was made for CMMC, definitely. We started to roll it out on 3 of our new clients that we have. We've been testing in another CMMC client right now. There's probably roughly 400 computers in that network. I think we've been able to successfully kind of keep them deployed and most of the people happy. It's really kind of about adapting and kind of building a policies and procedure set, that best practice that you should do, right? How I build software, how I sign my software. Being more consistent with those things makes you better. And so that's what we're trying to do. That's why we're doing it, for control over software and to basically stop things from going sideways. ThreatLocker Cyber Hero support team, I would say they're probably some of the best IT support teams I've ever worked with. If we have a problem, we get them right away. It takes moments to get someone to help us. We leaned on them early on in the early days just to make sure we fully learned how to run everything the right way. We have some more best practices kind of set in place now. We have a couple of cyber heroes here as well. Now, we sleep at night. We know for sure that ransomware is not going to run. We're going to spot it. We're going to see it. It's going to get taken care of between the endpoint and ThreatLocker as a 1-2 punch. You stop things from going sideways in networks, pure and simple. With ransomware, which is roughly 10% of what we see, could change any moment, right? ThreatLocker would be one of the primary tools we would look for. So the console's up already. We have it automatically integrated with ConnectWise Manage so that we ticket. Someone is always going to get some information and alerted. ThreatLocker would obviously stop that ransomware from attacking. If it's on a computer, if it's on that network, we know right away. We do have another endpoint involved here as well. So generally we would go to ThreatLocker first to make sure it stopped what it was supposed to stop. Then we know if something executed or not. Secondly, we would end up probably at the AV level and making sure we do full system scans if it hasn't, see if anything was picked up there as well. I come from a banking background. And so to have a piece of software that just stops the Trojan work, anything crawling sideways, any worms, any ransomware that we were completely made aware of already. And I think that's just lights out for me. That product is easy to sell. That's why we are definitely pushing for ThreatLocker sales here. We see a scenario or a client that doesn't have ThreatLocker. We try to start to approach them about, hey, we need to do this. You've had three incidents and they've all been near misses. They're all near misses because you got lucky. We need to start thinking about be more proactive here, and let's start looking at ThreatLocker. And that's what we do. If a client has ThreatLocker installed and a piece of software pops up, they can make a request. That request pushes to a ticket, and then we get an alert. So we will certainly look at that, scrutinize that, and check that software out. We help. Sometimes we'll include a cyber hero in that process, depending on what the software is. If we know what it is and we recognize it and we can validate it, then we kind of would let it through ourselves. If we cannot, then we like to use the unified audit. There are some occasions that people don't. They bypass that, they skip that part, they don't request, and then it's in that unified audit. So the ThreatLocker unified audit is one of the best things that we have to look for all software. We're in there a lot looking at not just allows, but denies, the soft denies or the red denies. So yes, we use unified audit every day. ThreatLocker definitely filled a hole in our cyber stack. Well, as we'll see, it'll probably single-handedly stop all other malware. I'd like to say that, the lack of ransomware issues lately are probably because of ThreatLocker. And I think it is in the agencies that we have it. I think it also may be, hey, it's just the way it is right now. It's not just about us selling it. It's about getting the security word and the gospel out. That's really what we're trying to do.